Today, the Savannah business community's highest honor goes to a man who not only advocated working less, but actually made it happen at Deemer, Dana & Fraley, the accounting firm where John Matthews was managing partner.
Started looking and said, you know, we spend way too much time at work. You know, accountants were famous for being focused on work. We worked, we ate, we slept. He said, we need to have a work-life balance.
We were all a little skeptical. I'd love to go to that 4.5-day work week, but he made it happen, and it worked.
What we asked in turn for the somewhat reduced firm workload was, you need to give back to your community.
John invested some of the time he created in education, twice elected to the Savannah-Chatham County Board.
John wanted to make sure that all children had access to good education.
And he worked very hard to bring positive changes to our system.
But John wasn't just a mouthpiece, he was in the trenches too, one-on-one mentoring children like a little boy named Michael, whose family was homeless.
He told this young man how that even though he wasn't the best reader in the world, that he would catch up with it, that not everybody was a great reader, that it may take him time, that he was created for something special and unique, that he was valuable, that he was loved.
That same compassion guided John to be a founding member of the Savannah Corporate Academy.
The whole idea was to find a place where they could take at-risk youth and they could train them to work in the retail environment.
So over 20 years, John was there for the kids here in Chatham County, and was a great friend, a great person, and a great man.
The love he expressed for everyone's children was a reflection of the love that he had for his own. He said as much a few years ago when he followed his son in a speech to the Promise Keepers.
I've always had this insecurity that I'm not going to grow up to be a great man and, you know, be as good as a father as he was. Because, I mean, he was an amazing man, and he was the kind of person who, you know, anybody could look up to. And I remember voicing those insecurities. And he got up soon after me and, you know, announced for everybody to hear that I was going to be 10 times the man that he was.
As you know, 11 years ago I gave my life to Christ, and most of my life I was an atheist.
Now, we've buried the lead. All of the wonderful characteristics that we've detailed came about as a result of John, the good husband, accompanying his wife Penny to Savannah Christian Church.
He introduced himself to Cam as, "Hi, I'm John Matthews. I'm Penny's husband. I'm here to support her, but I'm an atheist, and I'm not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to participate in anything that's going on."
Attending church brought relationships and discussions, and ultimately the kind of self-doubt that portends a revelation.
I came downstairs. He was sitting on the ottoman of the big chair, listening to the CD and the song I Can Only Imagine, and he was crying. And I said, "Babe, why are you crying?" And he goes, "Why don't I believe?" And I knew then that he had opened his heart and his mind just that much to the possibility that he could be wrong, that there could be a God that loved him, there could be something beyond himself. On the day that he decided that he needed to go up, when the invitation was given, I was on the end, the children were in the middle, and John was on the inside of the pew, and we stood up, and he reached over and he was sobbing again, and he put his hand on me, and I looked at him, and he said, "It's time." And I grabbed the kids and I said, "Get out of Daddy's way and let him go up."
Ever the intellectual, John's heart led him back to his head.
Then I said, well, I need to get good at this game. So let me get the instructions.
You know, his whole life changed. Big impact on what's really important in life, and certainly that's your faith and your relationship with the Lord. And right next to that, it would be your family.
And then last year came the diagnosis of a brain tumor, which was the point at which John Matthews discovered the peace which passeth all understanding.
And John said, "I think the devil gave me this brain tumor because he thought my brain," and this was The tumor was in the higher functioning intellectual part of his brain, the right temporal lobe, deep in his white matter. He thought that knowing that that part of my brain was so important to me, but what he doesn't realize is that may have been important to me before, but now my heart is what's the most important part of me now, and loving God and sharing his love with everyone else is what's most important to me.
John's heart is everywhere you look in this city, in the children, in the church, and the business relationships that were always about more than just business.
His commitment was to build relationships, and those really meant something to him. He had a very high moral compass that he never veered from.
A wonderful marriage, a wonderful family, a community that honored and respected him.
He did things from the heart. That's what I respected about it.
But for all the honor and respect the community showed him, his love of God was best reflected in the love he has for his family.
Integrity and kindness and gentleness and just a light in his soul.
John Matthews is the 2013 recipient of the Savannah Chamber of Commerce Oglethorpe Award.